Hello and welcome to another History Bursts video. This one focuses on diplomacy outside the League of Nations. So certain countries made a number of agreements between themselves during the 1920s, including countries that were not members of the League, such as the United States. It's possible that these nations were trying to find as many different ways as possible to secure peace, or perhaps they had little faith in the League's ability to uphold it. So we're going to start off and look at the Locarno treaties in 1925. So these were signed between France and Germany, and they were represented by Stresemann and Briand, their foreign ministers. These were signed in 1925 in Locarno, which was in Switzerland. Now, Switzerland was a neutral state, hence why it was used to host the discussions about these treaties. So what happened? The two enemies agreed to work together peacefully. Germany accepted the borders defined in the Treaty of Versailles, gave up the claim to Alsace-Lorraine. They agreed to submit all future disputes to an international authority. They agreed to protect any country attacked by one of the others. All countries agreed not to go to war with one another, and the Rhineland was made a neutral region. No country could send troops there. So Germany wasn't in part of the League of Nations, and as it had suggested these treaties, therefore it didn't go through the League. So why is it significant? Well, it seems that Germany was finally accepting the terms of the Treaty of Versailles and was trying to become a peaceful nation. Relationships between the countries involved improved, and it paved the way for Germany to join the League of Nations. And the League should have been leading the way on such an important agreement, especially since it involved two of the League's most powerful nations, Britain and France. So alongside the Locarno treaties in 1925, we've also got the Kelloggbriand Pact. This was signed between 62 countries, including Germany, France, and the USA, in 1928, and was signed in Paris, in France. Essentially, it was agreed that the countries would agree that war would not be used to solve disputes between them. The League didn't become involved again because USA were not part of the League. And it was significant because the fact that the League again was not involved in such a major piece of diplomacy, it left the League looking like a place for talking and not for solutions, and that obviously damaged the reputation. We also had the Washington Arms Conference, or the Washington Naval Conference, which took place between 1921 and 1922. And this is where major countries like Britain, the USA, Japan and France agreed the maximum size of their navies. Again, the League was not the one pushing for disarmament, and countries like Britain and France attended independently of the League, again showing that the League wasn't necessary in that world diplomacy, that world peace. We've also got the Rapallo Treaty of 1922, and this was signed between Germany and Russia, where they agreed to work together. Germany agreed to return land and money that was taken from a treaty signed between Germany and Russia in 1918, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, and this again shows that diplomacy could be made between two countries that were not part of the League of Nations. So this includes, like I said, Germany and Russia. And that brings us to the end then of looking at diplomacy outside the League of Nations. Join us next time where we look at why the League of Nations ultimately